Welcome back to the Sane Asylum, my dear patients. Today, I'm going to do something a little different. Since this is a asylum, you are my patients. I think it's about time that I implement more of the asylum part on this YouTube channel. So welcome to therapy session number 1. Today, we're going to talk about something that took me years to learn. The friends you make in high school won't be your friends forever. When you graduate, most of those friendships will fade away, and that's okay. But back then, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't believe it. Part 1, the lesson I ignored. I had this friend in high school, well, not even a student. It was a security guard. Everyone called him Wheels because he rode around on a bike. When I graduated, he gave me a goodbye card. I wish I kept it, but I still remember one line that he wrote. He said, "The friends you make in high school won't most likely be your friends in the real world." When I read that, I thought, who is this guy talking about? At the time, I was too immature to accept advice. But you know what? The very next day after graduation, I realized he was right. Part 2, why high school friendships feel strong but are temporary. In school, friendships feel like everything, but they're temporary. Think about it. You see these people every day because you share the same classes, play the same sports, go to lunch. You're forced into the same spaces every single day. But once you leave that space, the connection disappears. At the end of the day, we're all alone in our own heads. Only you can read your own thoughts. Only you know what's going on in your mind. That's why high school friendships often fade once real life starts. Part 3, my own friendships that faded. Amber's story. In high school, I never really fit in with my own grade. I always hung out with people younger than me. When I was a senior, I hung out with the freshmen and sophomores because I felt like I was the wiser one. I was always the hotter one. I was always the smarter one. I was always the one who stood out. Because back in school, you guys know when you went to school, hanging out with the senior was the best part of your month. If a freshman got to hang out with the senior, it was Amber Brown. One of those friends was Amber Brown. She was a grade below me. We've been friends since middle school and lived just a block away. Every day, we hang out at school. The week of graduation, we promised each other, we'll text every day. We hang out on the weekends. Girl, I promise I'll text you every day. But the day after graduation felt normal. You know, we texted, we talked, we went to each other's houses, but as weeks and months went by, Amber wanted to see less of me. I was in college, well, summer started, we talked, but then when the school season started up, when September came around, I was in college, started my first year, and she was still in high school. And then one day, I checked my phone, and I looked at social media and saw a picture and realized that she replaced me. She replaced me with another girl who looked like me. She was just a more masculine lesbian. She replaced me with another lesbian. And that hurt, because I used to be her go-to masculine lesbian. Now there's somebody else. And that really did hurt me, because I kept up my end of the deal. I texted her, I reached out, but it's hard to talk to someone who takes weeks to reply and says, "Sorry, I was busy." Like, girl, we live 1 minute away. What do you mean that you're busy? I'll go to her house, and it felt different. Conversations were always cut short. Eventually, I got the message. I read the room. And so I stopped talking because I said to myself, I'm going to let Amber text me first. I'm going to let Amber set up dates for us to hang out. I'll let her text me first. And fast forward to now, it's been 5 years since we last spoke to each other. Another example was with my friends, Keo and Sydney. Same thing. We promised we'd text each other. We did for a couple months, and then when summer was over, we just stopped talking. And honestly, that's just how life is. The sooner you realize this, the better. Part 4. Real friends versus fake friends. I know school just started back up for most of you in September. My advice is don't get too attached this year. Not every friend is going to last. Be cautious about who you surround yourself with. Here's the difference. Fake friends will make promises. Like, hey girl, I'll text you. Hey girl, we can hang out every weekend. Fake friends make promises. Real friends don't make promises. They just show up on your front door unexpected. Real friends don't need to validate, hey girl, I'll text you. They don't need to, because they know what to do. For example, my friend Cheyenne. We've been buddies since the 3rd grade. I remember, it was first day of school, 3rd grade. She sat behind me, she sat in front of me. I turned around, and for some reason, I don't know what movie I saw the day before or what advice my parents gave me, but I just remember that day I needed to make a friend that day in my head. Because I just moved to a new town, and all of my other friends were no longer my friends because I moved to a new town. So I thought, okay, I need to make new friends this year. And for some reason, I just turned around because I knew there was somebody behind me. She looked nice. And I remember saying, do you want to play basketball at recess with me? And she said yes. And since then, we've been friends. We still talk today, and to be honest, sometimes we go weeks and days without talking, but that's the thing about real friends is that you can go a couple weeks without texting each other, and then one day you'll talk, call each other on the phone, and pretend like no time has ever passed. Fake friends, if you don't talk to them in a couple weeks, they get mad, like, hey, you haven't texted me in 3 days. You haven't texted me in 3 hours. What's your problem? But real friends, you don't need it to validate time. You don't need to make up for lost time. And that's what a real friend does. A real friend doesn't make promises. A real friend will always show up when you need them the most. That's what a real friend looks like. If you have to force yourself to keep a friendship alive, it's not worth it. Don't waste your time. Part 5. Nostalgia and regrets. I'll admit, sometimes I miss those high school days. I miss laughing. I miss being reckless. Back then, I was the speaker kid. I was always walking around blasting music on my speaker. Some teachers hated me. Some loved me because I would blast 80s, 60s, 70s music. I blasted all kinds of music. That's actually how I became close friends with the security guard, Wills. And I do get nostalgic of the past, even though school wasn't always a good experience for me. But life felt simple. No bills, no job, no adult stress. All you had to do was just show up. Looking back, I wished I started this YouTube channel earlier. I wish I matured sooner. I wish I didn't waste so much time trying to be popular or trying to chase after girls who didn't even love me back. Most of my high school years, honestly, I was on autopilot. Well, most of my life, actually, I was. If a teacher told me to write an essay, I wrote it. Did I know what the essay was about? Hell no. Did I question it? Hell no. If somebody told me to jump off a bridge, I'll do it. I wouldn't even question it. And that was the problem. I wasn't questioning life. I wasn't really living life for myself. Part 6, the harsh truth about friendships. So here's the truth. The friends you make are always going to be situational. What I mean by this is that they exist because you share the same space. Once you remove that space, you remove the person. Think about it. You go to the gym every day. At the same time, you always see the same person. You nod, maybe talk. But if you stop going to that gym, that person no longer exists in your life. And so does that person. Because that person doesn't no longer exist in their world because they don't see you as well. Years later, you might stumble across their Instagram page and see that they moved to Italy, got married, had kids, and you're like, damn, where did the time go? It feels like yesterday you were sitting in English class reading The Kite Runner. But then you realize it's been 7 years, 6 years since you graduated. And you say to yourself, shit, it's been 6 years and I'm still in the same place that I was when I was 18. And then it hits you. Friendships fade, time moves on, and not everyone is meant to stay. And that you've been wasting your time stalking friends, exes, popular kids that made fun of you on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, every social media app that you could find. And then you realize, more than likely, those people have not thought about you in the way that you think about them. Because they don't exist anymore in your world, and you don't exist in their world as well. And it's time for you to let that go. Stop thinking about high school. Stop thinking about middle school. Stop thinking about those wasted years in college. Time moves on. You need to let go. And I need to let go as well. Because I think a lot about my high school days. Sometimes I think I even peaked in high school. Because I was skinnier back then. I had all kinds of energy. I woke up at 4 a.m. I don't know how I did it. I woke up at 4 a.m. just to go to the gym. I went to school with my speaker. I annoyed people. But I also made a lot of friends because I blasted music on my speakers. I wasn't the only kid that blasted music on my speakers. There was other people as well. But I was the fan favorite upon the teachers. I gotta say that. Because as the other kids were blasting inappropriate songs, I was blasting the classics. I was blasting the good songs. I was. But I gotta let that go. Because that's the thing. You remove the place, you remove the person. For example, my good friend Allegra, I have never met this person. We never met in person, ever. But how is she my friend? Well, during COVID, there was, it's kind of sad to say, there was this YouTuber, this LGBTQ YouTuber who would daily vlog. There were a couple, Corinne and Skylar. Look them up on YouTube. It's a real thing, but now they deleted all their YouTube videos because they broke up. Anyway, they created this group chat for the diehard fans, and so I was a part of this group chat, so was Allegra. And then when drama happened, Corinne and Skylar broke up, this group chat, it spiraled. It went to shit, to be honest with you. And then somehow, some way, me and Allegra just connected, because out of all the 10 plus, 20 plus, 30 plus people in the group chat, we talked to a lot of people in the group chat, but when we talked, we just connected, right? Because we share the same space. If it wasn't for Corinne and Skylar breaking up, most likely I would have never become Allegra's friend because we share the same space. So that's what I mean. You remove the space, you remove the person. You're in that space, you reconnect with that person. Be careful who you talk to in school and really assess, do you see yourself with this person after graduation? Does this friend only talk to me because we share the same classes, or does this person talk to me because we really connect? And this isn't just for friends who will graduate before or after you. This is also for people in the same grade as you. I was friends with people in the same grade as me as well. I just had more friends that was in different grades, like junior, sophomore, freshman. I did have friends in the same grade as me. And it's so weird because you go to class with them, you see them every single day, you sit next to them in biology class, you get to know them. You get to know them by the scent of their perfume. You get to talk about common dislikes and likes. As the teacher is talking, you talk about what music you've been listening. You talk about gossip, high school gossip. Or during a test, you poke them on the shoulder or you nudge at their legs by using the shoe like, hey man, I need help with this answer. Hey man. That's what makes it so special. You see this person every single day. They let you copy off of their homework. They let you use their notes. Same thing goes as you. And then one day, it's gone. You never see that person again. It's weird. It's a death. Death isn't dying. It's you can't ever see them again. They're no longer there. You can't copy off of their homework ever again because you're here and they're there. And also, you no longer have homework. So what is your purpose in life? When you graduate high school, what do? You have no homework. Then now what? What do you do? Because now you don't have nobody telling you what to do. Now you have to tell yourself what to do. And that's why the education system has failed us. Teachers tell you, get this in by 8 a.m., do this, do that. But they don't teach you life skills like how to cook. Schools don't teach you how to cook meat anymore, and people are dying because of food poisoning because people are too intellectually stupid because it's not their fault. It's not even the school's fault. It's just that we don't educate people like that anymore. The Pythagorean theorem doesn't come in handy in everyday life. Maybe if you're a scientist or a carpenter. But the average person doesn't need to know the square root of a pine cone. Alright? Or the mitochondria of the cell. I don't remember a damn thing in science class, but the one thing that I do remember is the mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. Do I know what that means? Hell no! I don't even know what a mitochondria is, but all I do know is that a mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It cannot function without it. Do I know what it looks like? Hell to the fuck no, I don't. But you can never see that person again. Because you don't exist anymore in their life. Everything is temporary. The friends you make are always going to be situational. The reason why you even met this person was because you share the same space. The teacher had assigned seating. If it wasn't because of the teacher assigning seats, you would never have meet this person. You go to the gym. You see the same person. Once you leave the gym, they don't exist anymore. You go back there again, and then one day you start to realize over 3 years that this particular person comes at a different time and that they haven't been to the gym in 3 years. Then you go, wow, when's the last time have I seen this person? Was it that long ago? Means that person just randomly just pops in your head. Then you realize, I haven't seen that person with the blonde hair and the pink shoes come into the gym for 3 months now. Is she okay? When in reality, she's living it up. You know, she moved to Germany. You know what I mean? You no longer exist in her world because you don't share the same space. Nobody knows nobody if you really think about it. So then you ask around and somehow stumble upon this girl's Instagram page and you stalk her on Instagram and you find out that she's in Germany. Blah, 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 blah. And then you say to yourself, where did the time go? Then you go, well, shit, it's really been 6 years since I graduated high school? I guess so. The friends you make in high school will not last forever. Be careful who you talk to, because I need to let go as well. I have a problem. Every couple days, every couple weeks, every month or two, I typically stalk my bullies on Instagram when I'm not supposed to. And it makes me feel bad. Like, for instance, there's this guy. His name is Derek Platt. I am jealous of him because he was a popular kid. Okay? He has a nice body. He's getting married. He's a real estate agent. He's probably making close to $1 million just by looking at his Instagram page and how he lives. Probably $500,000 a year, I suppose, or a quarter, something like that. At least a quarter. But anyway, I get jealous because we're the same age, right? We graduated at the same time, went to the same high school, with the same college and everything. And then he's over here and I'm over here. Where did the time go, people? That's why this channel exists. This asylum exists. Because I'm crazy and you're just as fucking crazy as I am. We need to let go and really assess who your friends are. You really need to assess your social surroundings. Who are your friends? Surround yourself with the people you want to become. You know the saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your life. For the longest of time, I thought that was bullshit. You know what I mean? But it's true. Surround yourself with the people you want to become. Surround yourself with people who dream like you. Allegra, she wants to become a big Twitch streamer one day. That's the dream right there. That's passion, that's hard work, that's discipline, alright? My friend Cheyenne, she wants to live a normal human life, She wants to fall in love. She is in love right now. She wants to become married. She wants a fairy tale ending like in Twilight. She is obsessed with Twilight. And she's a nice person as well. Very, very nice person. And Nick, he wants to learn the guitar. My friend wants to learn the guitar. And guess what? He said, can you teach me? He wants me to teach him how to play the guitar. I barely know the guitar myself, but he wants me to teach him. Surround yourself with people that are always trying to self-improve. Surround yourself with people who want to become better than yesterday. Most of the time, the friends you make in school don't give a single fuck about you, nor do they give a single fuck what they look like, who they touch, what they do in life. Yeah, sure, you're in Germany living it up, but are you happy? No, you're not. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming to this therapy session. This marks therapy session number 1. Currently, right now, I'm eating an apple. As you can see, here, trying something new, trying to reinvent the wheel. You are my patients, a therapy session. I'm the warden, I'm the doctor. I'm here to help you, give you advice. Nathan, if you're listening, take this to heart. Okay, Nathan? You know who you are, Nathan. The friends you make in high school won't be your friends forever. Once this football thing is over, once you graduate, you won't ever play football again. That's just the reality of it. You won't ever have that pact again. It's important that you find a hobby right now so that you don't feel lost in life later. You need to let go, Nathan. Everything is going to be situational in life. You cannot self-improve if you keep thinking about the past. Because more than likely, those people have not thought about you. Maybe they have, but I'm sure, God damn it, they haven't been stalking you. Because I don't exist anymore. I don't exist because on social media, I deleted all of my social media except Instagram and YouTube. And they don't know that I'm insane. They don't know that insane asylum exists. But I know that they exist. Because I'm still stuck in that same place. I'm not sure if any one of you relate to this at all. Reminiscing on the past. It's okay if you reminisce about the past, but what's not okay is you reminisce every single day of your life. Sometimes I think that I peaked in high school, just because how simple life was back then. But then I realized I wasn't mature back then as well. I didn't have the knowledge. The friends you make in high school won't be your friends in real life. Out of the 15, 20 people that I knew in school, only 2 of them became my friend. And I wouldn't even count Cheyenne because she left elementary school to become homeschooled. She was homeschooled. After elementary school, she was homeschooled, but we still talked. But I went to school with Nick, middle school and high school, and I'm still friends with Nick. Other than that, nobody from high school, middle school that I talk to. Nobody. Just Nick. And I guess if you can count Cheyenne, you can. The sooner you realize this, the better. Ex-girlfriends will move on. Ex-boyfriends will move on. Friends will move on. People are going to die. People are going to move away. And that's one thing that school has taught us, to move on. It builds character, makes you a stronger person because you know now what to expect. That's the thing about life. The sun will always rise in the morning. That's a guarantee. People are going to keep living their lives whether you're in it or not. But what's most important is that you realize what friends are worth fighting for. Those friends that you met in high school, they don't mean nothing to you. Because they don't mean nothing to you in their eyes. Because they have their own life, they have their own friends. That's why the education system's kind of screwed up. Because in school, teachers tell you to do this, do that, but we don't really learn any life skills. I don't even know how to pay my own taxes. School was just one big social club. It really is. It's based on popularity. And that's why it's hard for people to let go, because it's based on social groups, fitting in, making friends. When in reality, school should be based on education, but it's not. I have learned more useful skills on YouTube than I have in school, to be honest with you. When you graduate, it's like a death has happened. You lose daily connections. You can no longer smell their cologne or perfume. You can no longer laugh with them or have inside jokes about the teacher. Time passes by fast, and one day you realize it's been 6 years since high school. And you're not where you thought you'll be. Friendships are tied to physical spaces. Once the space is gone, so is the bond. They exist because of proximity. So here's my final point. Most high school friends won't ever last forever, and that's okay. Cherish the good memories, but don't cling to people who don't value you back the same way that you do. Because friendships are temporary, but the lessons you take from them last forever. So don't be afraid to let go, and don't be afraid to grow. And no matter how insane you may be, there is always someone out there to complete the insanity!